Hello there, Libra. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of January 6th through the 12th. We are doing a little different format this week since I've been doing some dailies more often and live. I've decided that we need to switch the format up on weekly instead of just a card a day. So we're going to be looking at things a little bit differently. While I'm putting your cards down, let me just remind you that I do offer private readings either by phone or by Skype, whatever works better for you. And the best way to find out how to contact me to schedule a private reading is to go ahead and use the contact information listed on the website at the bottom of this screen. Okay, Libras, you definitely have an interesting week going on here. All right, the first thing that I'm looking at for you, Libras, is your environment. Now, your environment typically is home, but sometimes it comes up as work or as school as well. It looks to me like there's been a lot of toxicity in the environment, and it looks like you are struggling to let go of that toxicity. I think that there has been there has been some residual energy that's left over from this toxicity, and so you are still working on healing up from whatever that residual is so that it can finally deplete and get away from I really feel like your aura even more than your environment. Okay, Libra? The next thing that I have coming up is your subconscious leanings, and this is really all about you wanting to get back to your normal, happy, usual self, clear thinking, the normal you, okay? So that's where your subconscious leanings are pulling you. They're working on, how can I get back to being me? This is really more about releasing that toxicity, letting it go so that you can be back to your normal self. And then next thing I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. I really think that as far as learning style, you're kind of curling up. You're looking at yourself and yourself only right now. You're not paying attention to anything, any advice from any outside people. You're not feeling like listening to any other ideas that anybody else has. There is definitely this whole sense of being boxed in. This is really overthinking things, and it's an energy of, this is the way it is. I have made my mind up that this is the way things are. And so if somebody else gives you advice or insight, you're not receptive to that because you've already decided how things are. This can be a dangerous way to learn new things because sometimes people have valuable insights or valuable advice. And if we're not open to that at all, we can really miss out. And I feel like this is kind of the position that you've got yourself in right now, Libra. As far as your communication style, I think your communication is very pointed, very cutting, has some jagged edges, can be very sharp this week. I think what you are trying to hold in most of your communication, but I think what comes out very rough. All right. Next thing I'm looking at talks to me about your work. And I see work as not only that way that you make a living, but also what you do to improve your own inner character for your own self-gratification. So work looks like it's going really well. You may even be getting some kind of compliment or commendation from the boss or a supervisor or something like that. But as far as inner work, this all comes back to the subconscious leanings. You are just trying to find those things that make you feel good again and be able to think about things that make you feel good instead of focusing on the negative stuff that's already happened in the past. Now, that part of your personality that's being grown or expanded right now is that independent part of your personality, that part of your personality that doesn't rely on anybody, that is just completely self-confident, self-sufficient. Yeah, and this may even be, with what we saw earlier about your learning style, this may even be blocking somebody out. Especially if you're married or if you're in some kind of partnership and you're taking your independence to whole new levels, this may be blocking out that other person. So this is something that I would be careful of. I would be careful of that right now in this particular situation. The next thing that we have coming up tells me about something that you stand for. You expect things to be traditional. You're not wanting to update your values or update your perspectives with things. You want things to go along with the traditional values, traditional perspective, and there's not a lot of give in that. Okay? There's not a lot of give in that for you. All right? And not only do you expect people to be traditional when it comes to values and perspective with you, you also have traditions and values that you expect of them. So it's vice versa. Okay? You're not asking anything of anybody that you wouldn't ask of yourself. All right? Next thing that comes up is how other people perceive you. And they see you as somebody who is going through a devastating time. And I think they see your reactions as somebody who is reacting to a devastating time, that you've got some coping mechanisms in place. Now, once we get towards the end of the week, we have kind of a game changer event here. And this has to do with some information or some news that comes into you about something that needs to be done. And this is not something that you're excited about doing. It's not something that particularly inspires you. In fact, it may be something that's quite tedious. And so as this information comes in, there are some things that are going on towards the end of the week. First of all, you're starting to keep some secrets that I don't think you started to keep before. And it may be that, oh, well, I've already done this tedious thing to get out of doing the tedious thing. Because it is a secret that's around this news of this tedious thing that you need to do. And I think that as you start to keep those secrets, I think you're still trying to do that tedious thing, even though you've told people that you've already done it. So now you have to sneak around to do the tedious thing because, you've just told other people that it's already done. So now you're having to be sneaky. And then once we get to the end of the week, we see you really, I think, first of all, the first thing I'm hearing is you're busted. You're busted. And I think you're trying to wiggle out of any kind of blame for this. I think you're trying to say, well, if this hadn't happened and this hadn't happened and this hadn't happened, then this would all be taken care of and it wouldn't be an issue. That type of thing. But definitely I see you getting busted by the end of the week. So, if you find out about a tedious thing you need to do, you're going to do it anyway. Don't tell somebody it's already done if it's not. You're making life hard for yourself. Okay, because I see you trying to wiggle off of this hook where you haven't been honest. And you're just trying to wiggle off like a fish trying to wiggle off a fish hook, trying to get back into the water. Kind of a desperate thing. So please don't do that to yourself, Libra. Honesty is always the best policy. It really is. Anyway, that's your reading, guys. If there's any of you who would like to get a private reading with me, I would be happy to do that for you. All you have to do is get a hold of me using the contact information on the website at the bottom of the page. Those of you that this video helped, please remember to give it a thumbs up and also share it with other people that it may help as well. That helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate that. And if you would like me to read for you, I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. The rest of you, I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.